programme the other day.
We're now broadcasting live at the NHS Rally. Remember to hit that big red subscribe button and click the bell icon so you stay up to date with future live streams, all videos like these in the future, and so you get notified whenever I go live or upload a new video. Be sure to share the stream. So we are now outside Downing Street. I'll just go around and show you how many people there are.
We're now going to hear from Alia Yule and Izish from the increasingly important Patients Not Passports.
Thank you, in solidarity with everyone here today. This government is waging a war on us and our public services. They tell us that migrants are to blame for overstretched schools and hospitals. But we know that this is a lie. It is this government that underfunds our NHS and tells health workers to work harder for less pay. This is a crisis that they have created. They tell us it's people seeking safety on our shores that are the problem. But again, we know that this is a lie. Our enemy doesn't travel by migrant dinghy, they travel by private jet. And this is a dangerous lie, because we've had over a decade of racist, violent, hostile environment policies which have turned health workers into border guards, deterred patients from seeking care, and caused delays in life-saving treatment, while charging sick people 150% of the cost of treatment and saddling them with debts that they can never pay. Today, together, we are standing up and fighting back. Today, we're marching for people like Amisha, a 3-year-old girl who was charged £76,000 for her cancer treatment. We're marching with her family as they fight for justice. We're marching so that no matter your immigration status, no matter where you are from, and no matter your ability to pay, no one is charged for their NHS care. Free for all, forever, for anyone in need. We must stand shoulder to shoulder, bringing our struggles together against all attempts to divide us. When we show up in solidarity, we know that we will win. Say it loud, say it clear. Refugees are welcome here.
We are Patients Not Passports, a group of healthcare workers, students and patients united against healthcare charging. We stand here in solidarity with everyone who's been affected by charging and everyone who's going to be on strike next week. Under the hostile environment, we see people suffering in pain for months because they're too afraid to seek care. This is not just obscenely cruel, it destroys the foundations of a system that was built to be affordable, based on need, not ability to pay. What I want to say is that we're not afraid. And that we're not afraid of keep fighting for an NHS free of charging and helping people live the lives they value alongside those they love. Healthcare is a right for everyone, not a privilege, and patients are not their passports.
Thank you so much, and thank you for everything you do for all the incredible people. You know, the NHS is made up of many, many people, including so many incredibly hard-working migrants. So thank you so much. We're now going to hear from Philip Banfield, who is an NHS consultant and also chair of the British Medical Association UK. So give it up for Philip.
Thank you. We are here because we care. We care about the NHS, and we care about our patients, and we care about each other. The number of people dying because they cannot access care is a national scandal. The conscious chronic underfunding of health and social care is a national scandal, and the number of workers being driven out of the NHS because of unfair pay and poor working conditions is a national scandal. This government cares more about profits than patients. It peddles lies that this country, the 5th richest economy in the world, can't afford to pay NHS workers fairly. At a time when the very rich have never been richer and the poor have never been sicker. It's a national scandal, and one you must do something about, because this government shows no sign of doing so. It doesn't have to be like this, it's a political choice. Vast sums are being spent on the private sector, agency staff and cross-cover, even before the massive cost to the nation of having 7 million on waiting lists when they should be back in work. You claimed to value the NHS during the pandemic, Mr. Sunak. Put your money where your mouth is. Consultants are angry about how this government treats them. GPs are livid over the recent government-imposed contract. This government is attacking every type of doctor in the NHS, and enough is enough. Junior doctors have taken the unprecedented and tough decision to strike for 72 hours from Monday in their fight for fair pay and the future of our NHS. Do not insult their intelligence and dedication, Mr. Barclay, by trying to bargain with nothing. It is better to lose junior doctors for 72 hours than to lose them forever. Our NHS is in crisis. Demand fairness and equity for patients. Demand that this government listens to you. Demand action, not hollow words. The British Medical Association stands in solidarity with you in your fight to end this NHS crisis. We can do this.
Thank you so much, and just, big props to anyone who is going out on strike, whether it's the doctors, whether it's the firefighters, the rail workers. All of us have to support all striking workers. Now, I'm now going to introduce John Rees, who is from the People's Assembly Against Austerity and is also National Officer at Stop the War Coalition. Hello.
Thanks very much. The first thing I'd like to do today is to send my congratulations to the Leader of the Opposition, Gary Lineker. And to send a message to the Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, and to the Deputy Prime Minister, Keir Starmer. Your government will not destroy the NHS. We need to be very, very clear. Any settlement of these disputes, not just in the NHS, but right across the working class movement, any settlement of these disputes which does not put another consolidated 10% in the pockets of the workers is a wage cut, and that is unacceptable. It is unacceptable because the money is there. When it comes to sending billions of pounds of armaments halfway across the globe to kill and maim, the money is there. So the money has got to be there for those people who save lives here in this country. That has got to be the case. Because without those wage increases, people will not come to work in the NHS and they will not stay working in the NHS. And that's more than just a question for NHS staff. It means for the first time in living memory, I believe in the last winter, people have been living in fear of being ill in this country. Living in fear that they will not get to see a GP. Living in fear that they will lie on a trolley or lie in an ambulance until it's too late to see a doctor or a nurse. When that happens, you are seeing the civilization that you live in run through your fingers. And it is time to call a halt to that barbarity right now. And NHS staff are on the front line of that fight, and they deserve every ounce of solidarity that we can give to them. And we've got an opportunity this week on the 15th, on Wednesday, to join with other trade unionists, to join with striking teachers defending the education system, to join with striking civil servants defending the public services, because that's what it's going to take. One out, all out, until this government stops trying to destroy the lives and livelihoods of working people. And one more word for this government. Get off the back of migrants and refugees. Get off their back, because they are the people who came to this country, who work in the NHS, who when you were ill for COVID, they were the people that cared for you. They are not criminals, they're not undesirables, they're the people who save your life when you're ill, so get off their back. So thank you all very much for listening, but this is just the beginning of a much, much larger struggle. For more than a generation, working people have had their living standards cut and their services taken away. For the first time in a long time now, millions of working people are joining trade unions and striking in their trade unions. We have got to make sure that we win this battle. The last time we fought on this scale, the miners lost, and we endured more than a generation of defeat and cutback and Tory rule by both parties. That has got to stop. Don't waste the revival in the working class movement. Don't waste the strike action. Don't waste the rebuilding of the trade unions. Strike now and get rid of the Tories.
Thank you, John. I'm just going to take this moment now to make a point of my own. If I can just fix the mic. Give me a sec. Right. So, I just want to quickly say that we, the people, are instrumental in the way that our society is organised, and we are seeing more and more people realising this. We are seeing more and more groups realising that we have got to work together if we stand any chance of defeating the corruption that is running through all of our public services due to this filthy, rotten government. For that reason, we are now refusing to accept the violent oppression that has been breaking us down as a class and as a society through suppression of wages, through the growing cost of living crisis that is being accelerated by the government basically allowing these huge companies to rake in profits through raking up basically our energy prices and our ability to actually afford anything in our lives. You know, we have the power, we are the people, so we need to see more coordination, more strikes, more protests, and more objection with this corrupt government that continues to steal from the poor and give to the obscenely undeserving. And I just want to just remind us that it is our NHS. We pay for it, and that is why we are going to take it back. Who's NHS? Who's NHS? I'm now going to hand you over to another NHS staff member. It's Rachel, who is a striking nurse, a paediatric nurse. So, over to Rachel.
Hi there, and thank you. First off, can I just say thank you to every single nurse that hit the picket lines over the cold, dark winters. I couldn't join you, and that was because my hospital didn't meet threshold. But I was there with you in spirit every single time. This is no longer just a strike about pay. This is about our patient safety. This is about making sure that there are enough nurses to look after the patients when they need our care. To every healthcare worker, you are all amazing. You are some of the most talented and resilient people that there are. But tenacity, resilience, and sheer grit should not be an everyday expectation. You all do amazing work every single shift, despite the pressures stacked against you. But it should not be like this. We are currently 50,000 nurses short, over 100,000 healthcare workers in total, and that number is rising. In the 6th largest economy in the world, workers who are working full-time in one of the toughest jobs there is cannot pay their bills. This is not our jobs that are wrong, it is the system. And to Mr. Sunak, this is a deep-seated neglect. This is deliberate. Nurses and healthcare workers have been not valued in terms of their pay for decades. We are too valuable to strike, but not valuable enough. Sorry. Not valuable enough to be paid fairly and accordingly to our risk, our skill, and our depth. You shy away behind a not-so-independent pay review body made up of a pre-selected body of nepotistic friends. You say the pay offer is fair, we say that it is not. Why must the haves continue to dictate to those that how much we should not earn? What more must we cut back on? Why can we not heat our homes, nourish ourselves? Why are we working over and above full-time hours just to get by? To all of you here today, the time has come for us to hold those to account that govern us and demand that they sustain the most enviable and widely used health system in the world. It is the most affordable, it is the most equitable model that there is. The alternatives are not. So, no more to privatization, no more outsourcing, no more profiteering. And this is where I need your help. Who's NHS? Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel, and thank you to all of the incredible nurses who started a huge mobilisation during the pandemic, and we're still seeing the incredible power that that has brought even now. I'm now going to hand you over to Linda Dillon. Linda is a Sinn Féin member of the Legislative Assembly for Mid-Ulster and is a health spokesperson.
Thank you very much, and I want to say a special thank you to SOS NHS for organising today's rally and for allowing me to be part of it. I am honoured to be on this stage to show Sinn Féin's support for healthcare workers. I would like to take this opportunity to thank all of you who've come along to support NHS staff in their very simple and basic ask of this Tory government to have safe working conditions and fair pay. I particularly welcome here today all of our healthcare workers who every day go out and give 100% and then some. Without you, there would be no health service. You deserve fair pay and conditions and proper funding. These are not big asks, but Rishi Sunak and his government have failed to listen to the union representatives of our healthcare staff. Our healthcare service is in crisis on the back of 12 years of savage Tory cuts, which has underfunded and undermined our public services. This has nothing to do with this government not having the money, and everything to do with the Tory policy of privatising our NHS by stealth. Money has been stripped out of our vital public services, and all the while big energy companies who have ripped people off with scandalous prices are rewarded while they walk away with billions in profits. That's not a fair deal. Health and social care workers should not have been forced onto the streets in the cold for fair pay and safe working conditions. Without that fair pay and those safe working conditions, we will not be able to retain or attract the skilled health workers that provide the highest standard of care to all in our communities when we most need them. This needs to be addressed now through proper investment. Health workers need a fair day's pay for a fair day's work. This same Tory government that made all sorts of promises and clapped for our NHS staff during the pandemic, but year on year have failed to deliver. Well, I suggest instead of clapping, you might want to use your hands to put money into the pockets of our overworked, underpaid, undervalued NHS staff so they can heat their homes and feed their families and have a decent standard of living. We have seen public services in the north of Ireland decimated over the past 12 years under this Tory government and their predecessors. We have cancer strategies, mental health strategies, elective surgery strategies, a transformation in healthcare strategy, and none of them are worth one damn without the funding to support them, or the healthcare staff to work in them. It is totally unacceptable that the Tories have not yet negotiated with the union representatives. They need to end their attacks on our healthcare service and bring forward a deal that meets the needs of workers, to tackle the endless waiting lists that are causing so many to suffer. So my message today to Rishi Sunak and the Tories is simple. Time to invest in public services. Stop the cuts. Stop undermining our health workers. Do your job and pay them what they're owed.
Thank you, and I'm now going to introduce you to our penultimate speaker, and that is Margaret Greenwood, who is Labour MP for Wirral West, a patron of Keep Our NHS Public, and also a founder member of Defend Our NHS.
Thank you so much. We're here today gathered with a shared belief. A belief in a universal, comprehensive national health service, publicly owned, publicly delivered, free at the point of need to all. It's our country's finest social achievement, and I know that everyone here today and people right across the country are rightly proud of it. Not just what it does for them and their families, but for what it means. Because it means freedom from the fear of being unable to afford treatment and a national health service that values each and every one of us equally. We want it to be there for us when we need it. It's something we've been so very fortunate to have since 1948. Yet we all know that its very future is at risk and under attack. The cynical determination of the Conservatives to undermine it is there for all to see. Waiting lists of over 7 million, leaving patients waiting in pain, distress and uncertainty. Staff vacancies of over 124,000, meaning that those working in the service are stretched and pushed to the brink. And the continual drive by the government to open it up to increase privatisation. This hasn't happened by accident. The Tories have been undermining our National Health Service as a public service for decades, just as they have all of our public services, because they don't believe in it and they want to replace it with a business model putting profit before patients, and they have been running it down for decades, priming the pump for business to take over with a cynical disregard for the millions of people, both patients and staff, who suffer as a result. So we have to stand strong, and we have to continue with our fight to save our National Health Service. And I pay tribute to all of the NHS staff who have had the courage to take strike action. It's not an easy thing to do, but I say to them, your fight is vital for the future of the National Health Service, and the public is behind you. And I pay tribute to every single person campaigning here today, and all of those campaigners right across the country who are unable to make it here today, but who are no less determined. In 1948, we were given an extraordinary gift by people of vision and humanity. So it's up to each and every one of us to do all in our power to save our National Health Service as a comprehensive, universal public service free of the point of need. So stay strong, keep up the fight, and save our National Health Service.
Thank you, Margaret, and thank you for everything you do. Now, I'm going to now hand you over to our final speaker, and that is the co-chair of Keep Our NHS Public. Keep Our NHS Public is central to our fight in defending a publicly owned National Health Service. The NHS is the backbone of this country. It provides healthcare free at the point of use to the majority of people in this country. Without it, people will go without healthcare, and healthcare is a fundamental human right. So please give it up for Tony O'Sullivan.
Thanks, Alia, and thanks everybody. You'll be glad to know this is the closing speech. It's only about half an hour. Very proud indeed to stand here on behalf of Keep Our NHS Public and as co-chair, and our trade union campaign, Health Campaigns Together. And we were the main organisers calling for the powerful SOS NHS coalition, which now has 55 organisations supporting it, including 18 national unions. Can I just say one thing that's slightly different to everyone else? I'm not one who says that the NHS is a national religion. I don't need faith to believe in the NHS. I know that when it is in public hands and funded to succeed, it is absolutely proven to have been the best health service in the world. It's the best. You are the best. Evidence proves it's the best in class, the most cost-effective, the most democratic and most accessible. But we are up against a very cruel and ideological government, contemptuous of public services, contemptuous of public servants. We know, because everybody said it today, about the 500 excess avoidable deaths per week because of the emergency pathway cataclysm. The terrible government failures of COVID. 212,000 people died, as Andrew reminded us at the start of the march. And austerity up to and before the pandemic was responsible for 335,000 excess deaths. We've just talked there about over 500,000 people that have died at the hands of this government. The government has blood on its hands because of its cruel and vindictive policies. Underfunding of the NHS has demoralised staff and weakened our services to the worst point that I've ever seen it, and I worked for the NHS for 40 years. Privatisation alongside underfunding has parasitised the NHS, exploited it, weakened it, fragmented it further. and that's government policy. But after a fantastic day today, and thank you so very much for being here, the next step is what we do next. How will we be stronger? How can we have a Keep Our NHS Public, or a We Own It, or a People's Assembly, or whatever group in every town and city of the country that will make sure the government knows it's unpopular, it's racist, it's ideological, it's corrupt, it's finished. So join us, please unless you're already in one of our groups, please commit to joining us in one of our campaign groups, to Keep Our NHS Public, or any of the others. And this day, stand with our NHS colleagues in struggle and on strike. Demand an end to this crisis. Demand funding to restore and expand the public NHS for everybody, including the million of people undocumented in this country. And demand an end to privatisation in the NHS. Thank you. Go safely.
Who's NHS? Who's NHS? You are all beautiful people. Thank you for coming today. We're wrapping the event now. Please give generously to the collections. Check out the stalls. Keep fighting for our NHS.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Hi there. Can you tell my viewers why you're protesting in central London today?
Why? Because the NHS is just too valuable to lose. It's unfair that people are not earning enough to live. We've just come to do our little bit to help. We're from Coventry and we thought we'd come out today and try and do our little bit.
Yeah. Are you a doctor yourself? Or
No.
Do you know anyone who is?
I don't know any. No, I don't. But I know that I've had some fantastic treatment from the NHS, and I'm really grateful. And I don't know what to say really. They're so valuable, and we just take them for granted. We shouldn't do that.
And how about the turnout today as well? What do you think about the turnout here? Has it been great?
It's absolutely phenomenal, really. It's just unbelievable. I think there's been thousands and thousands of people.
Sure. Thank you very much. Yes, indeed. Thank you very much. I'll show my channel. You'll see it on YouTube. You'll see it on YouTube.
The intersecting systems of oppression. That you stand with the NHS, and we ask you to stand with us. The theme today is justice. Justice for our women. Pretending to injure protesters. Ambulances are being hijacked.
Yes. Hi there. Can you tell my viewers why you're protesting today?
Today,
Yes.
just for our NHS workforce, you know, they were with us during COVID, but they've been with us long before that as well. And without us standing up, you know, clearly the government aren't going to do anything on their own. So, you know, they need us here to just, you know, help vocalise why they're so essential to us and why they deserve this added pay and protection, you know.
What do you think of the turnout here?
Yeah, it's been good, you know, it's been good. It's nice to see people of all ages, you know, of all generations. It's important because they're there for us all, and it's important we reflect that in our turnout. So yeah.
So are you a doctor yourself?
I'm
Or
not.
do you know
I'm
anyone
not,
who has first-hand experience?
No, but like, you know, I've had people I know during COVID who, you know, passed away, and, you know, the NHS have been the front line. So it's important that we, you know, represent that, you know.
Sure. Thank you very much.
No
for
worries,
that.
man.
Yeah, thank you. You'll see it on my channel. Another alternative. Thank you very much.
With terrorists, Rishi Sunak, James Cleverly, why have you caused the real...
Can you tell my viewers why you're protesting today?
Sorry?
Can you tell my viewers why you were protesting today?
Because we want the reduction in the NHS funding and services to be stopped, and we want to get this. Well, we want to get this government out, basically, and that in the meantime we want to get the National Health Service properly funded and get all the workers properly paid.
Can you tell me your thoughts on all of this as well?
We're from Banbury, and we have been steadily losing the services at our District General Hospital for the last 20 years. And underlying that is the underfunding. So we want to see it stopped, and we want to see everybody being able to get their care locally, not having to go to huge centralised hospitals.
Thank you very much. And how's the turnout been here today? Has it been big?
It started off fairly small, and then suddenly it expanded. It's not been too bad at all.
By the time it gets to the BBC, it'll be just 3.
Oh, are you from the Beeb?
No, I'm independent myself. You'll see this on YouTube, another alternative on YouTube. That's the channel, so I'll show you. Thank you very much for that.
In at least 91 provinces, they have been faced with gas attacks. Why? Because they have asked for autonomy over their bodies. In primary school, for up in Iran, for up and asking for. We need the international community, non-Iranians, the British public, to stand in solidarity with us, because the truth is gaslighting our fight for freedom. They have continued to neglect. They have continued.
If you're attending the live stream now, thanks for tuning in. Remember to hit that big red subscribe button and click the bell icon so you stay up to date with future live streams like these, or videos in the future. Thanks to all the mods keeping the chat clean as well. Once again, thanks for tuning in, and I might go live again for the Iranian protest after this, so I'll see you on the other end if I go live shortly. But if I don't, I'll be at Speaker's Corner tomorrow, and I'll see if there are any other rallies taking place. Once again, thanks for tuning in, and see you on the other end for the Iranian protest over there.